With the first pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Kyler Murray, quarterback, Oklahoma.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me be the first to say it. Arizona has found their Murray. Kyler Murray now makes history. The Oklahoma Sooners become the first team ever to have back-to-back #1 picks at the same position. Quarterback, Kyler Murray.
Daniel Jones just went to the Giants. Surprise, surprise. So Haskins still on the board. Alex did not want this Daniel Jones and said he'd be a big bust. I'm not at the 9:09. It's 9:10, and the Dolphins are on the clock.
2016 third-round pick.
Here we go.
And from Texas A&M, 7-time
Richmond.
Richmond Webb.
Woo! Recording this at home.
With the 78th
Miami Miracle.
in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select
Michael Dieter, guard, Wisconsin. Well, we all know about linemen from Wisconsin. Nobody did it longer than Michael Dieter. A school record 54 starts in Wisconsin.
All right.
Also played hockey earlier and won
Fight song.
summer leagues for, the Toledo Ice Stickers. But back to football and what he does on the field.
Think about those starts. You said 54 games. 24 of those starts were at left guard. 16 of those starts were at center. And 14 guys were at left tackle. You talk about a guy who understands that, hey, if I need to fill in at a spot, I got the experience already behind me, Todd, to do that at 3 spots on the offensive line.
And Wisconsin has 3 offensive linemen that are going to be drafted between now and the end of this draft. I thought he was the best of the 3. 2-time team captain. The versatility obviously sticks out. He's tall for an interior offensive lineman, but he's got some snap in his hands, and he plays with pretty good leverage for a guy who's 6'5", 309 pounds.
Love the way that he is adept at combo blocks. And I think you look at Wisconsin,
They're
their
the best
history
of it.
of producing offense.
The badge, we're at Party Capital, and now
The picks of Christian Wilkins, the big defensive tackle out of Clemson. Now Michael Dieter. There you see what we're talking about. Second-team All-American, 2018 Remington Big Ten Offensive Line of the Year, 2-time first-team All-Big Ten. And he really said those summers playing hockey really helped him develop his game for the NFL and for football, Lewis, because of the lower body strength that he needed to play hockey.
Look, and he's going to need to be someone who's productive for this football team. Look, their pass block win rate in Miami was just subpar. It's just not good enough. And just think of the quarterbacks that they have on their roster. If you want to throw the football, and you have to be able to protect Brian Fitzpatrick,
right,
and you definitely have to be able to protect Josh Rosen. So this is a need pick and someone who's going to need to develop, and they're going to need to make sure that happens.
Feels like there was some urgency after bringing in Josh Rosen. Uh-oh, we better go protect. All right, so the Rams are next on the clock.
All right, there we go. Big Mike. Got to lead us to some victories. Denver is up at number 10. The Dolphins are at 13. Haskins, Coach Gower, big fan. Alex Cantine, big fan. There he sits. Will he make it through Denver, Cincinnati, and Green Bay? Pittsburgh is now on the clock. They've traded up. They got Roethlisberger. Do they need Haskins?
The Denver Broncos have traded the 10th pick to the Pittsburgh Steelers. For Pittsburgh's pick, please welcome back to the stage 1979 Walter Payton.
With the 10th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Devin Bush, linebacker, Michigan.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm not sure.
Now they have filled that void, and they also have Ryan Shazier coaching this.
Not sure if the Bengals would take Haskins. Again, Dalton is their man. Stupid booing.
NFL draft.
He's saving the game.
Cincinnati Bengals select Jonah Williams, tackle. Alabama.
Whoa! Dolphins can have their man, Haskins. He'll be there because this team has Rodgers.
Jonah Williams is a football freak.
Wow.
This guy is unbelievable. 44 games in 3
That'd be a good
seasons.
pick, Jonah Williams would, but
The Green Bay Packers select Rashawn Gary, linebacker, Michigan.
ladies and gentlemen, our boy's there, Alex Cantine.
Rashawn Gary goes off the board 12.
Here we go. Lucky 13.
Michigan
Eric Townsend and I were there the night before the overtime win in 2010. Here we go. Fins up.
An enigma, an underachiever. Hey, if the light goes on and you can
Mel Kite.
a D-line can get the most out of him,
He could be really good. The Miami Dolphins, where will they go under their new head coach, Brian Flores? Hello, Nashville. Are you having as much fun as we are?
These days away, and we've lost the Antichrist. We have to work together.
The earth isn't going to just end itself.
We're doomed.
1,000-mile limited warranty for clutch performance in the real world. After all, that's where you drive to camp. Twice. Bridgestone tires.
To be the MVP
Pick just came in at 8:44.
of wedding season.
That's 8-4 right there.
Kelsey to join your wedding party?
Here we go. I got to get it over to ESPN. A little bit better coverage, in my opinion. No, DP isn't a big fan of Trey, but
Dolphins pick is in.
Oh, thank you, Darius and Jason Fitz, as we continue with the 13th pick now. The Miami Dolphins are on the clock. They, of course, have their new head coach, Brian Flores, who came over from the Super Bowl champion Patriots, and the pick is in. Let's go to
here we go, baby.
With the 13th pick in the 2019 NFL draft, the Miami
Haskins.
Dolphins select Christian Wilkins, defensive tackle, Clemson.
Oh, wow. Let's go, Fin Nation.
Of the potential 3 defensive linemen from Clemson.
Does he have socks?
Will go off the board, and there is a look of exasperation and relief from Christian Wilkins.
Show me his
Christian Wilkins,
socks.
of course, wears number 42 for his grandfather, Yuri A. Stamps, who was shot when police raided his house and a rifle discharged accidentally. They were not there for Yuri. They believed a stepson was dealing drugs. The gun went off accidentally, and Christian Wilkins, during his time at Clemson, by the way, he stayed
Yeah.
for 4 years.
I like his demeanor.
To honor his late grandfather. And Christian Wilkins was the one that really put that band of merry men together as he gives the jump.
Woo! 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 Woo!
Roger,
Let's go, baby!
that is a big dude right there. He was the one that put the entire group together, called them the Power Rangers. Booger, all those 5 defensive linemen.
All right.
Wilkins might be the best of the bunch.
I don't think there's any might to it. I think he is the best defensive lineman that was on that Clemson team. A big athlete. And you talk about athleticism, you
Right.
but this young man can do something crazy that I don't think me, you know. Look at that. Oh, big fellow, do it.
That was after the first national championship.
Good locker room guy right there, I can tell already.
Splitting double teams.
He has lateral movement, he has power, he has speed. He can make plays from tackle to tackle the way no one in this draft at this size can at over 300 pounds. He has scheme versatility. He can play in a 3-4 or 4-3, whether that's nose guard, defensive tackle, or 4-eye. I love this pick for Miami. head coach Brian Flores is shoring up front. Very similar to the way they did in New England. They're doing the same thing now in Miami.
Washington Redskins are one pick away from maybe getting Dwayne Haskins without having to move.
Incredible.
Teams like Cincinnati, Miami, you would have thought would have been spots, maybe perhaps particularly Miami. It tells you the league, for whatever reason, Lou, did not have the high opinion of Haskins that we did. Now, that could be proven wrong by the Washington Redskins, but there were opportunities here to take Dwayne Haskins, and teams have consistently passed on him all the way up until this point.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you this. We'll just keep it about Christian Wilkins for this in this instance, and I agree with you, Mel. I agree with you here, and I think people are going to regret the fact that they keep passing on Dwayne Haskins. One of those people who I thought was under-talked about in the pre-draft build-up, but Booker talked about scheme versatility. Look, who's going to have more scheme versatility than Brian Flores? And who's going to require your players to be very smart, like Christian Wilkins, who's one of the smartest players in this draft? It's a perfect match.
To that point, he took home the William Campbell Trophy, which is the academic Heisman. He graduated in 2.5 years. He is smart. He is big. And he just laid a lick on the commissioner. So for more on all of that, let's go down to Susie Culver for this DXL moment with the big man, Christian Wilkins.
Christian, leading up to the draft, you said you couldn't imagine what it was going to be like when that phone rang. So what was it like?
I mean, it's everything I imagined. I just can't wait to be a part of this league and be an ambassador for this league. This game's so special. I love it so much, and it deserves to be played the right way, and I'm going to do that in the league. And the Dolphins going to get everything out of me.
All right, baby.
About your uncommon maturity and your perspective on life. What shaped you?
Hey, just my grandfather, man. He was the biggest influence in my life. I was so glad I had him in my life for 14 years. And so each and every day when I go on that field, I make sure I honor him every day and everything that I do.
Beautiful. Let's have a little fun. That D-line, it's a really emotional moment. What are you feeling right now, Christian?
It's just feeling great, man. I'm just ready to tear this league up, become a part of something bigger than myself, and just be accountable for everything, and just make the Dolphins a better organization.
All right, let's get a smile. That D-line of Clemson, right? The Power Rangers.
More to come. That's right. More to come. Clemson all day.
Let's see it. Show the camera. Let's see that line. Yeah. Represent.
Hey, that's the kind of guy I want on the Dolphins right there.
Well, as we said, it is morphin' time because the Clemson Power Rangers, they all dress up for Halloween. There's 3 of them that are going to go in the first round. 2 are likely to go after that, including Austin Bryant and Albert Huggins. The Power Rangers are powered up. They had so much fun doing that at Clemson. Meanwhile, the pick is in for the Atlanta Falcons at 14. They were so banged up defensively a year ago. Let's find out.
It's awesome, baby. I'm a happy man. I'm a happy man. I wanted Haskins, I thought, and looking at that, I'm a Wilkins fan.
Look what Dabo did here.
Payback.
Christian Wilkins got picked.
He got him in the trophy ceremony, remember?
That's right.
He got Dabo.
Payback. Payback for Christian Wilkins with the wet willy. Got him in the wet.
It's time for some straight talk. Having all the high-speed data you need is awesome. But 2 lines with unlimited data, that's double awesome.
Player to get as much back as they could. They wind up getting back a 2nd and 5th round draft choice for the Miami Dolphins. Kyler Murray gets the starting job. Josh Rosen gets to compete for the starting job with Ryan Fitzpatrick in Miami, and both teams go on and are better for it.
All right, so that's the headline from day 2. Another story I just mentioned is DK Metcalf going to the Seahawks with the last pick in the 2nd round.
Fired up about that on this Saturday morning.
Spot. But instead, they got a really formidable player who plays a really important position at a great value. And when you do look at the value, Arizona is on the hook for the entirety of his $10.8 million signing bonus, which means the Dolphins will only pay him $2.3 million per year for the next 3 years. So Rosen escapes an awkward situation in Arizona with a chance to compete with Ryan Fitzpatrick for the starting job here in South Florida.
Analyst Louis Riddick joining us from Nashville. So Josh Rosen, the Dolphins getting a 1st-round talent here, Louis, for a 2nd rounder and a 5th next year. What do you make of that trade from the Dolphins' perspective?
Oh, I think it's a great trade by general manager Chris Greer, because what you have now is you have the perfect situation with a veteran quarterback in Ryan Fitzpatrick that can really just go ahead and serve as a calming type of influence on Josh Rosen, who quite honestly went through one of the toughest rookie years that you could possibly put a rookie quarterback through. He wasn't set up for success down there. He got the living daylights beat out of him, and now he's coming into a situation where the world isn't expected of him. There's a lot of work that needs to be done by the Miami Dolphins as far as the offensive line is concerned to make sure that whoever eventually ultimately becomes their franchise quarterback, that they are well protected and set up for success. And this is a long-term process that they have now begun down there in Miami after years and years of kind of like from year after year resetting that organization and trying to find its footing. So I think he's going into a situation now where he's kind of like found the bottom as far as the early part of his career, and now it's just all onward and upward.
And the economics always important with a quarterback. They're getting him for cheap for many years, so we'll see how that plays out. So, Lewis, we're 3 rounds down.
The draft continues from Nashville. I'm with Ricky Fowler in no roller coaster after this.
Dolphins just made their selection. They go another Wisconsinite, 151. Van Ginkel.
You know I'm talking about Luke. He was way more solid than I thought. Like he got some up. It kind of hurt me a little bit, but no, he's a pretty solid guy. I'm glad he was able to, do the 14th selection. We have to come back out for that.
You go Drew Lock or Josh Rosen in round 2 if you had to swap out a second to Arizona? Peter Schrager?
I would go with Josh Rosen. I would trade for Josh Rosen. I think Rosen has dealt an incredibly unfortunate hand last year with the Arizona Cardinals. He was viewed as a first-round prospect last year, did nothing on the field to damage that. And from everyone I speak to in Arizona who was there with him last year, he did nothing but show up to work and be a complete professional. Steve Wilkes has no reason to praise Josh Rosen. He got fired and blown after 1 year. I saw him at the Combine. I said, how was Rosen in the building? He said he was incredible. This guy showed up every day, took a beating behind a bad offensive line, showed up. Look, even this offseason, being there at volunteers, I think Rosen's got good football. I would think his whole experience was unfair to him. I also think this whole experience makes him better. And hopefully he's got a chip on his shoulder and wants to prove everybody wrong.
I'm going Drew Lock. I just like him. I think he's a strong arm.
Out of college and put him in our system and train him from day one. But I'm with you a little bit on this one, Shrakes, because Josh Rosen now has 13 starts under his belt, all right? And to get him for a second-round pick, the price is right. His contract is very doable, very easy. Also, he was a first-round pick, so he can be there another 4 years. He will have that 50-year option available to him. So both of these kids will have 4 years to be on your team. And I got Rosen with 4 years and 13 starts under his belt. He's already gets it a little bit. So I think I would lean towards the experienced guy. And he had higher grades coming out with most people last year than Drew had this year.
If you're the Miami Dolphins, you've been searching for that quarterback ever since Marino called it quits. You had to have done your due diligence in this offseason on Josh Rosen to do everything you can with the exception of talk to him, right? I mean,
You watch them, you can't tamper. They're doing their due diligence the last couple days. That's what they're doing.
Remember, though, Adam Gase was the head coach last year during the draft process. They have a new head coach. Mike Tannenbaum's not there this year. It's almost like a whole new grass is there. Yeah, Chris Greer is still there. This is a different set of eyes on Josh Rosen than when they were last year with the 11th overall pick.
And with that same thing, a different set of eyes with Miami, a new coaching staff. Well, that's what Arizona is doing with a new coaching staff as well. There's new eyes. No team, no new coach wants to go in there with somebody else's guy. They want to get there.
A Washington Redskin making those Giants Redskins games that much more interesting for years to come.
Watch out.
Wilkins nearly made us look for a new commissioner a few years earlier than expected. Christian Wilkins went in. It was, in fact, a charge. It looked like the commissioner's feet were planted when Christian Wilkins put his entire body weight into the most powerful man in sports. Okay,
The Dolphins want to give up a little less, maybe a late rounder coming back. There's no deal yet, but Peter, this might actually come on the clock tonight. This might happen when the Miami Dolphins are actually about to pick, which makes it so interesting, Ian, because we have all these different quarterbacks that are still on the board, Drew Lock, Will Greer, etc. You have to put Rosen into the mix right now. This could end up being a really toxic situation if they don't handle it now, and Ian's actually spot on with what he's talking about with the terms. So what I'm hearing, Michael Bidwell, Steve Keim, they don't want to give him away for 60 cents on the dollar. A second-round pick might not be enough for them. Then again, they might not have any leverage in this situation. You might just have to suck it up and take it.
Less than a 5% chance he's still on the roster at the end of tonight.
I would say that's probably right. Now, a deal needs to happen.
Yes.
So crazier things have happened, but I feel like from talking to both sides of this thing, they would like it resolved pretty nicely.
It's going to happen tonight. I'm just saying.
It happened in the second round, and for that, let's go to our insiders, Adam Schefter and Chris Mortensen. What's up, guys?
Well, Trey, we've been waiting for this deal to happen, and it's finally happened. Josh Rosen is being traded to the Miami Dolphins from the Arizona Cardinals. The information is filtering in. The trade just went down moments ago. They are up on the clock right now with the 62nd pick. That is going to go to the Arizona Cardinals. Josh Rosen's going to go to the Miami Dolphins. We'll see if this entails any other compensation. But the Miami Dolphins already have built up a war chest of extra draft picks for the 2020 draft. But Josh Rosen, the truth is, Arizona, as much as it was willing to keep him, couldn't hold on to him. It brought in Brett Hundley to back up Kyler Murray, and now they're making the trade.
And with those bounty of draft picks next year, which is believed that if they want to go up to number 1, unless they're picking first because of their record, to draft one of these star quarterbacks, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert of Oregon, Tagovailoa of Alabama, that's one thing. But they could give up a 2020 draft pick now because they have so many and satisfy Arizona on that level with Josh Rosen going to the Miami Dolphins.
All right, Adam and Mort, thanks very much. And there you see the Dolphin fans do not know what's going to happen yet. We'll get to them in a minute, and I'm sure they'll hear it. But let's talk about this for a second, because what did Denver do, right? Denver went up and made sure they got ahead of Miami, and they took Drew Lock. You wonder
to settle down a little bit, kind of learn from a real pro here as far as Ryan Fitzpatrick is in terms of preparation, and then continue to build this roster. Because I'll tell you this, Josh Rosen cannot afford to take a beating like he did in Arizona again, and he will if he has to play behind this offensive line. Think about they have some time. Exactly. They have some time, and they need to take their time to make sure they build it right.
What we were talking about last year, the big three were Rosen, Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, and Baker Mayfield was the wild card. Now they're all in the same division. The AFC East now has the Jets with Sam Darnold, Buffalo with Josh Allen, and Miami with Josh Rosen, and New England looking maybe for an heir apparent to Tom Brady. The AFC East is going to be fun to see the development of these three young quarterbacks.
If you study this contract for Rosen, it's really favorable to the point where if you make this deal and it's not working out, then you go and you draft a quarterback next year, and it's really, there's no sweat.
Miami Dolphins, who went Minka Fitzpatrick at 11. You wonder if they felt like they wanted him a year ago, and it just didn't happen. Meanwhile, the Dolphins are going, is it the Cardinals or it's the Cardinals? Sorry, the Cardinals are next up on the clock. Arizona, of course, started this round with Byron Murphy, the cornerback out of Washington.
The Miami Dolphins have traded the 62nd pick to the Arizona Cardinals. With the 62nd pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Andy Isabella.
Because there's a lot to discuss with that speedster.
And I mean speedster. But for more on the trade that Adam and Mort just broke for us about Josh Rosen going to Florida, let's check in with our guy, Florida man, Jeff Darlington, who's with the Miami Dolphins. Jeff, what can you tell us?
Well, Trey, this is exactly how General Manager Chris Greer drew it up the day before the draft. He wanted to get Christian Wilkins with that 13th overall pick and then find a way to get Rosen. The interesting part was he was never going to give up that 48th pick. The fact that he found a way to trade down to acquire more picks for next year, considered a bonus. He did eventually want to wind up giving up the third-round pick, but this is something the Dolphins certainly will be happy to settle on.
All right, Jeff, thanks very much.
We are in a winter weather advisory until 11 a.m., but more importantly, much more importantly, the Miami Dolphins might have their quarterback of the future, Josh Rosen. I'm excited about it, Alex Cantine. Really nothing to lose. Stocking up picks for 2020. What a favorable Friday night it is. Loving it, loving it, loving it. There she is.
Chest strap. Can't wait to take this beautiful day, Taylor Louie, and a walk through the garden.
Morgan Chater looks sassy as she walks with her.
that. Let's go, guys.
Here we go. Follow Uncle Greg.
Thanks for stopping by.
Should I turn the lights off for you?
Hi. Hi. Hey.